Okay, so good day. My name is Alfredo Quesada. The topic I selected is climate change and environmental damage. So, Indonesia's peatland fires. I chose it because found some satellite images that show a clear chain of events. So, the peat drainage dries the soil. Fires ignite. Haze spreads, and both health and economic losses follow those events. So, in the next few slides, I'll explain how that chain works and what can be done to break it. So, this is kind of just a framework of what I plan on discussing and kind of how I plan on going through each of these. Okay, so this presentation dissects the root causes of Indonesia's recurrent peat fires, so documents their impacts and identifies the policy gaps that allow them to continue. I focus on the peat domes in Sumatra and Kalimantan. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Between 2015 and 2024, and I rely on Indonesian primary resources such as Sipangi hotspot data, BMKG drought alerts, and BRGM restoration reports, and also supported by peer-reviewed studies. So Indonesia's peatlands store more than 35 gigatons of carbon. That's roughly twice the carbon in the entire Amazon canopy. When plantations drain the peat to plant oil palm or pulpwood, moisture drops below 40% and the peat becomes extremely flammable. The hotspot map on this slide shows that the largest fire clusters sit directly on the deepest peat domes. Three forces drive the fire cycle. Economically, burning is cheaper than mechanical clearing, less than $5 a hectare. Politically, enforcement of the burn ban is uneven, and local governments depend on plantation taxes. And climatically, events like the 2023 El Nino lengthened the dry season. BMKG issued public drought warnings in July that year. The scale is national. In 2015, fires burned 2.6 million hectares, and even in 2023, more than 1.1 million hectares ignited. The 2015 fires cost Indonesia $16 billion, almost 2% of GDP. And the satellite image on this slide shows haze drifting hundreds of kilometers into neighboring Malaysia. So peat fires are a major climate. Peat fires are a major climate force. The 2019 season released about 470 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent. So it's similar to the United Kingdom's annual emissions. 18% of Bornean orangutan habitat has been lost since 2015, and every dry season, the haze strains diplomatic relations between Singapore and Malaysia. The public health cost is pretty darn severe. During September 2019, the PM2.5 concentration in Palanca Raya exceeded 1,000 micrograms per cubic meter, more than 60 times the World Health Organization guideline. Epidemiological studies link the 2019 season to approximately 87,000 excess deaths, and repeated school closures and flight cancellations disrupt daily. The fires damage livelihoods and culture. Smallholders lose entire harvest, and day laborers lose wages. Haze migration rises as families move temporarily to cleaner areas. Cultural and religious events are postponed, and environmental injustices, it's stark. So rural low-income communities experience the worst air while having the least access to health care. There we go. So The government response shows progress, but it also has its own proper limitations. The Peatland Restoration Agency (BRGM) has rooted 900,000 hectares. It's roughly 87% of its target. The Sipongi Plus system now detects new hotspots in under 10 minutes, and ASEAN aims for a haze-free region by 2030. But nevertheless, burning remains the cheapest land clearing option, and local enforcement is inconsistent. A useful comparison comes from Malaysia's North Selangor peat swamp. So, community fire patrols combined with canal blocking dams reduced fire incidents by 70% between 2014 and 2023. This case shows that hydrological restoration paired with local stewardship is more effective than fines alone. A balanced assessment highlights both success and gaps. Hotspot detection is fast. New concession moratoriums exist, and restoration funding is stable. However, financial support for smallholder alternatives remains limited, and local officials face conflicting incentives because palm oil revenue funds regional budgets. Adaptive governance, so policies that learn and adjust, needs stronger implementation. So I propose 4 integrated measures. So first, expand poluticulture crops such as sago and, I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, but gelutung, so farmers can earn income while keeping peat wet. And then second, channel international carbon finance through Article 6 to fund large-scale re-wetting and reward avoided emissions. Third, I really like this third one. Establish performance-based community fire brigades that receive payments for verified fire-free seasons. And then fourth, deliver Sipongi hotspot alerts directly to farmers via WhatsApp to enable rapid response. And this kind of allows them to stay on top of it, and it allows them to see firsthand and track these potential hotspots. And with the way that hotspot detection is advancing, it plays a big part in keeping these potentially dry spots free from fire. So So in summary, Indonesia's peat fires are a combined climate, health, and governance crisis. Current measures have slowed, but they haven't halted the problem. A lasting solution requires hydrological restoration aligned with viable local livelihoods and continued regional cooperation. The next El Nino is inevitable. That's a given. A repeat haze crisis is not, though. And here's my references. So I gathered a lot of references and peer-reviewed articles that support the presentation, and I actually found this this presentation really interesting because I think the fires, they cause a lot of damage, but I think with a lot of the advances that we've gotten in the last 5-10 years, it's brought us a long way. And I think for the solutions is the one that I really want to hound down on, because I think if we can stay alert and incentivize people to keep lands either wet to prevent the fires or to be conscious when they're getting dry, I think that can help prevent even more future fires. And yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you.